Like, share, and subscribe. Hello, everybody. Smoking Joe with the Cracker Culture Podcast. Hit that subscribe button now. Cracker culture is a lifestyle handed down from generations of good, hard-working ranchers and agriculture workers, farmers that tended to this land, this great state that we live in called Florida. And yes, I'm a cracker, and I'm proud of it. Welcome to Cracker Culture, the Labor Day weekend, raw, uncut, uncensored, don't know what's going to happen. I'm Smoking Joe. I'm here with my co-host and friend, Gary, the Lizard Dick Ward. There's a lot going on. I guess it's, while we're on the funny side, before we do anything serious, there was a Facebook question that somebody posed, and I thought it was funny. It says, do you remember your 5th grade teacher? And so, I don't know. I remember mine. Gary, do you remember your 5th grade teacher?
I do not remember my 5th grade teacher. Most of 5th grade was, I'm not sure what happened.
I remember my 5th grade teacher.
Oh, Miss Jessie remembers her 5th grade teacher. That's Miss Jessie over there in the background. She is the technical support and
she turns the knobs and pushes the buttons for us.
Yeah. She's the producer, the videographer, and she also does our wonderful T-shirts. So buy yourself a T-shirt. Help us defeat communism.
So what was that, Joe, about your 5th grade teacher? Did you have a favorite? Did something happen?
And I was saying
what all went down, bro?
When that question posed, I'm thinking, you know, growing up, I don't remember a lot of my teachers. I remember my 1st grade teacher, and I remember very well my 5th grade teacher. That question was like it was meant for me. My 5th grade teacher was a lady named Miss Stara. She'd come up every morning and wrote it on the board, and she said, my name is Miss Stara, S-T-A-R-A. That's the way she said it every day. And I got my ass beat in that class every day. It didn't matter what. Look, I'm telling you, I mean, I wasn't a bad kid. I just wasn't a bad kid. I guess I was just, I don't know, man. I just had
a bad kid.
That's your opinion of what type of child you were.
I think it's called a bad luck. I think I've had a black cloud that I was born under that's followed me throughout my whole life, because I have a lot of shitty shit's happened. But no, I mean, look, one of the times, this honest to God truth, one of the times, and I was telling my wife, we was out in the playground and I was holding a frog. And you know, with kids, you know, you pick up stuff. And we're country kids, you know. Right. So I was holding the frog, and the frog jumped up out of my hand. And I was showing it to a little girl, and she was a black girl. Miss Starr was a black teacher. And me and this little black girl was friends. I mean, you know, it wasn't a big... The frog jumped down her shirt.
Uh-oh. 5th grade.
5th grade.
Yep.
Miss Starr automatically come in and drug me into the... She didn't even whoop me this time. She took me to the man teacher. Next class, it was an adjoining class. His name was Mr. Whetstein. This son of a bitch looked like a cross between Lou Ferrigno and Frankenstein. I mean, he was definitely a Stein. I mean, and this guy, he was like veiny and massive and shit. And he whooped my ass. He paddled me, and they never did get it. The little girl didn't even accuse me. It just scared her. It scared me. Hell, I was afraid as she was. You know, I mean, I never dreamed the damn thing was going to jump down her shirt. But that all come to a head. Sorry, we got kids. It's Labor Day weekend. Anything can happen. So I never... They taught me one thing. They finally taught me how to really stand up for myself. That's one thing I'll give Miss Starr. She taught me to stand up for myself, because I finally had enough. And she was going to paddle me for not bringing my homework in. I mean, I got damn paddling every day in that class. And she was going to paddle me for not bringing my homework in. And I said, I'm not taking no more whoopings. And she looked at me, like I was defiant. She said, you're going to the principal. I said, take me to the principal. She ain't whooping me. And the principal's name was Mr. Dover. See, that's funny because I don't remember half the other schools, but I remember this. And I always said it was an awkward situation because the principal had a bathroom in his office. And when I walked in, he comes out like buttoning up his pants, tucking his shirt in. He said, say you ain't going to let them whoop me? I said, no, they ain't going to whoop me. I said, they done beat me till I'm black and blue. And he said, show me. And I'm like, sitting there thinking, this man just come out of the bathroom, buttoning his pants back up, you know what I mean? That's kind of uncomfortable, 5th grade. And I said, fine. And so I showed him, and I said, the next one of you touch me, I'm going to have my uncle come up here and shoot every one of you. Now, 5th grade, that might not have been a big deal. But when I was in the 1st grade, my uncle was running through the school with a shotgun chasing his wife. This is country shit. I know. Look, y'all think this is a joke, but this is what makes life livable. Things that you experience through life that you take with you. But like I said, Miss Starra, Starr. I don't know if she's still alive. She's out there in the world, God rest her soul. She taught me to stand up for myself because I ain't never took no shit since then. 5th grade was the end of that deal. So you don't remember no other? What teacher?
Oh, I had a terrible situation. Y'all not even believe this. It's beyond belief. I don't know if it's 5th or 6th grade, but we had just traveled from the big city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. People know it. Race riots, all kinds of stuff went down there. But anyway, nonetheless, let's get on to better news. We moved to a little town about 50 miles north. So I was new to the school. You know how it is when you're new to the school. You walk on eggshells trying to figure out who you can make friends with and all that. I was moving from the big city to cow country. So instead of tennis shoes and fashion clothes, they were wearing torn jeans and cowboy boots. And you had to learn the lingo and the land and how to all maneuver. So anyway, remember we were in the library and they had constructed some kind of great big cardboard house type situation. It was just sitting in the middle of the floor. So I was just sitting there going, looking at that, and I was just kind of enamored by it. And one of the kids said, hey, you ought to go in there. And then when class starts, just hang out in there, the whole class. And then, I'm like, fuck yeah, hell yeah, man. Let me try that out. All right. So I didn't give it much thought, obviously. So I go in the box. Now I don't know, because I'm in the box, I don't know if every pupil in the class has got their fingers like this. There he is in the box. I can't see him, but I can damn sure tell you what happened. At a certain point, the teacher had called me to see if I was in attendance for class that day. I did not respond. Why? I was in the box. That'd be awful funny, saying your name in the box.
You still ain't got out the damn box.
Next thing you know, the door's open. I'm being asked to remove myself from the box. I said, okay, it's not so bad so far. A little embarrassed. Whole class eyeballing me. I'm fresh. Yeah, get the stupid new kid to do some shit. So anyway, I'm escorted out in the hallway where I don't take sports. I don't play football. They introduced me to the coach. The PE coach. He had his little friend with him. Can't use him no more, but he had his. It was a piece of wood about that long with a handle, a couple holes drilled in it. He says, I want you to meet my little friend. So there I was in the hallway, up for 3 swats. This hallway was a horseshoe shaped and there was rooms on all sides of it, so any noise that made ricocheted down the hallway, everybody knew what was going down. By the time I got my 3rd swat, I swear I was kneeling on the ground. I was in pain and agony because, as you know, an athletic coach can swing a fucking paddle. So, suffice to say, my first time at the new school resulted in a paddling of 3 swats, and stupidity of getting into a box. That's probably 5th or 6th grade. Hell, maybe even ninth grade. I don't know.
Yeah, we got
So, and then I do remember, if you really want to go back even further, now this is something I really, really can't do now. But I can remember my second grade teacher, and I won't forget her name. Her name was Miss Bruns. She happened to be a Caucasian woman. I'm going to guess 320, give or take. So, I was in trouble for something. I'm really not sure what you could get in trouble with in second grade, but I was going to get a spanking. Well, they didn't have paddles, I guess, then, or whatever. So she tells me, she says, face me. So I'm standing there looking at her. It's 300 pounds or more, and I'm fucking every bit of 40 pounds, 50 pounds. She says, stick your head in between my legs. Well, I'm supposed to respect my elders and do what they say or whatever, or so they said. And I'm like, well, that don't seem very safe to me. But anyway, okay. So I did that. So she proceeds to bend over me while she is flailing her hands towards my ass.
Oh God, this explains
I
a
thought
lot.
that if I ever seen this shit in real life, it would have been somebody went to jail. You know what I'm saying? But that truly happened. I'm not making that up. People might think I'm not, but it truly happened. I can even tell you the school where it happened.
I'll tell you, I have to believe anything he says because, look, I mean, as black as my cloud that's hung over me, he ain't much better. No, but speaking of schools, I mean, like I said, funny, you remember. Now, and on the school topic, we've seen all this stuff that's been going on. I probably follow it more than you, but the school board situation where these parents are protesting against the I guess them mandating things and stuff like that. And I mean, it's got kind of out of hand. I mean, it's well, it got physical. I mean, we even had a political candidate out there that was smacking at journalists. I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of that.
I did not see that.
I mean, it's just silly.
I try not to watch the news anymore. It's just doom and gloom and stuff like that. You know,
Well,
we need some upbeat stuff in our life. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I'm like the Amish man. I ain't had cable TV in a couple of years. I don't get infected by much of this. Facebook's what's polluted my damn mind.
I mean, when you get to work and you're just talking with friends and they're like talking about different things, and I'm like, well, what was the daily death count yesterday? I mean, you know, those words should not even enter your frickin' mind, the daily death count. That'd be like something from Vietnam or some World War or some bullshit like that.
We don't have that out here. You talk about daily death count, you can talk about how many hogs or gators somebody slaughtered out here.
How many tourists came out missing?
Oh man, everybody's tasty. No, it's just, to me, it's the most insane thing. I mean, I was watching, like I said again, I know that this probably, you ain't paid much attention, but I was watching, and these elderly ladies, these grandmother ladies, they were breaking out into song in these meetings. I mean, you only got so many minutes to speak, and I mean, and I think this one old lady, I don't know if she had kids in the school or not, she broke out into singing, I believe the children are our future. And you know, you thought when she got one bar down, she'd be done, but she tried to go.
Because they had like a fucking gong or something where they just fucking next.
No,
and how'd you like to be the people on the council, though, Joe, that have to hear this horse shit from every person? And it's the same thing, though. It's the same repetition.
That's their fault. That's their fault.
I'm just saying.
Look,
if you're being on that chair and you're up there, here comes another fucking person. Look at these motherfuckers. This is crazy. Now they're singing songs and shit.
But you got to understand, I realistically feel like this, and this is my opinion on the school board situation, the whole deal. I don't understand the first person when they walk up there and thank the school board for letting them speak. Now, let's think about that.
School board did not, well, I guess they allowed them to speak because they enabled the meeting to take place. But I understand what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, look, now, I've got employees, How many times do you think I've had called a damn meeting and thanked them son of bitches for letting me speak to them? And
Well-
I'm paying them with my tax dollars.
Well, now this is the weirdest thing you ever think, but I've been in a hotel room and plunged somebody's toilet and walked out the door and said thank you.
Well,
What
no,
the
that's
fuck am I
true.
thanking them for letting them plunge my goddamn toilet?
I'm
I
talking
did it,
from-
not them, didn't do shit, but that's what I'm saying.
But it's not. I mean, you know, the school board. I mean, look, if an employee works from all my employees, not anybody that's ever worked for me, I'd bring them on the air any minute and tell them what type of man I am about things. I try to be honest with them. I'm matter of fact. I don't want to. I'm not gonna. But you know, I don't feel like that. They're doing me no special favor if I'm paying them
Right.
to hear my grievance.
Right.
And that's what bothers me. And it's like
But I mean, how many hours did that go on with that meeting where everybody is just saying basically the same things?
but that's the thing.
But I guess it's part of due process. It's part of.
But here's the biggest thing that blows my mind about this whole school board thing is when you see an overwhelming majority of people is on one side of an issue and a handful that showed up on the other side. Well, don't you think that overwhelming majority is going to be the ones that are going to vote whether you got a job next time? I mean, you're supposed to be working to protect our parental rights and the protection of our children. You're not parenting with us. You're helping to educate and not dictate.
Okay, but I'm just sitting here listening to you while you're talking, and I'm sitting here thinking I'm kind of a middle of the road guy, and I'm like, you know, on a lot of subjects and a lot of different things, there's a little give and take. You may think one way, I may think another.
Right.
Maybe we can meet in the middle. Maybe we can't.
But there's
Maybe
not
we're
here.
good. But when you talk about the mask mandate, people for it and people against it, there is no middle ground anymore.
No.
You're either for it or you're against it. There's nobody, you know, and so the purpose is not really on the virus anymore. It's just people against people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Am I missing it? Am I saying it wrong?
No,
I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. I hear the kids in the back there, and I apologize. They're playing. Like I said, this is kind of just a raw, crazy version because it's Labor Day weekend. No, I see what you're saying. My thing is I think that everybody is entitled to their choices in life. And somebody said, well, then, you know.
But when your choice, what about when your choice influences someone else's life
Well, and
in a negative manner?
but here's the thing that I see here.
But I guess that can be said about a lot of things.
Well, no, but in this situation here, I heard one of the very few parents that made a comment and said, well, if they don't want to mask their children, they can just send them to private school. Now, here's where I really have a fault with this. Okay, if I don't want to send my kid to a public school because they're doing something that I don't feel is appropriate for my child, and you tell me then if I don't like that to send them to a private school, I should then be able to take my tax money that I pay for the public school system
Should be paid to the
and
private
should
school.
be paid to the private school
Yep.
to offset my
Yep.
expense.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because you're not getting, because other way around, from the looks of what I'm seeing,
You're
and-
getting double the money. You're getting
Yeah.
the money from the public school and getting the private money from somewhere.
And look, I really, the biggest thing that I have with the school board, Lee County School Board, are just absolutely horrific. They are wasting so much of our tax dollars. And for people that don't really are in the know on what's going on with Lee County School Board, they're in lawsuits that they've just been overwhelmed with evidence that they're bound to lose. They've already had to pay lawyer fees out to the companies and stuff for bad policy decisions they've made. Now, when you've got an overwhelming majority of the public coming at you on a situation that it's very questionable, the legality of it, to say the least, it's very questionable whether it's legal to do the things that they're doing. Okay? Don't you think you would err on the side of caution? Common sense would say, hey man, we're already blowing these people's money on some other bad mistakes we made on policies over here that was kind of stupid and afterthought. We better shut up here. We already got paying legal fees out the Kahuja trying to battle this, and now we're going to take on more because there's going to be more.
Well,
And it ain't coming out of their pocket, it's coming out of ours.
yep.
We're paying for something whether we're for it or against it. That's what I'm saying.
When this all first started last year, they shut down the schools to try to keep the virus from spreading. Now we've got it back again. So they're not going to shut down the schools. They're going to keep them going, which I'm kind of either way on that. I don't have children in school, but it would seem to me if it was that bad, they would just shut down the schools. I understand that the kids need to get an education, and it's been a year and a half now. But I'd rather have a kid alive than a kid dead, if you're looking at it that way, if he was to contract something. Not saying he would or not. But if it's that bad, why aren't they shutting down the schools as they did last year? Then you don't have the argument for or against the mask if the school is closed. I understand that puts a heavy burden on the parents because now they've got to figure out what to do with their child while they're working. So there's more ramifications than simply saying close the school down.
Well,
until things improve.
I think is the whole thing's bad juju, man. The whole thing. If you're taking the identity away from these children with the mask.
Oh,
You're
I
not
agree.
giving them a chance to have herd immunity, whether you believe in it or not. We know it's a thing. But these children, and I watched a kid at one of these school board meetings, and I mean, almost brought me to tears. This kid says, it was a young kid. He said, I go to speech therapy. Now, me and Miss Jessie's got a daughter that goes to speech therapy. And what this kid said really resonated with me. He said, I have trouble speaking, and if I'm not seeing the words come out of other people's mouths, he said, I have more trouble trying to formulate the words. And that made so much more sense. You're more handicapping these kids. They don't know emotion. You don't see a smile, you don't see a frown, anger. I mean,
But it's the same for adults. It affects the adults the same way. When you're at work, if you say something that could be derogatory or it could be meant another way, but you can't see somebody's facial expressions, you're going to take it the wrong way and cause some kind of rift that shouldn't be there had you been able to see somebody's face.
It's like something you used to talk to me about, how you used to send text, and sometimes the text didn't come out the way you thought it out in your head.
Right. What you wrote is not what it said.
It's the same way with the mask. It's not what
or how it was interpreted by
Yes.
the
the
other
interpretation.
person.
And so we formulate our life. So if you you think about when I can't help but think about when people swore up and down that Islam is going to invade America and bring Sharia law and stuff like that. And I again apologize for the kids. They're a little hyper. There it is, the weekend. But anyway, it's like they're already. If the mask works, then it ain't no better than a burqa. So I mean, they're gonna make it a fashion statement to wear a burqa. So then you're already. It's kind of like almost like a stepping ground to leading into. It seems to me. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but man, they keep forcing it, and I heard the next 30 more days again. 30 more days. That's what the school thing said. 30 more days mask mandate.
Well, what's next? Because you didn't get vaccinated, you now are a threat to someone or somebody else because you might give it to them. So now does that mean you're a criminal? I mean, if you roll it out that way, I know that's really a crazy thing, but
I just don't see why you get something if it's not going to prevent or prevent you from getting it and or prevent you from giving it to another person.
And
it just doesn't make any sense.
And again, I'm not even going there on that particular subject because I know how sensitive it is on social media. But the mask thing's a different situation for me. I don't care. Anything I've ever felt like wasn't right has usually turned out to not be right. You know what I mean? Even though I've made mistakes and thought, well, I'm just thinking this and go ahead and done it, I've always regretted not taking my first impression of something,
Right.
And I just I know there's a disease out there, or an illness, but you brought on, and we've created a pandemic that's sorry, we got the baby. She don't let the older girl rest any. but to me, if they would put as much effort into what has been happening in society with the drug pandemic, the real pandemic in America,
right.
The opioid crises. I mean, you used to see a lot of information out about it and this and that, but and yeah, I guess they come to Florida and they shut down a lot of the pill mills and done a lot of that stuff, but you still got people that got so addicted during that time that they're eating up bad dope. I mean, we just heard of a woman that my wife knew died of an overdose, and I think she was in her 40s or something, in her 40s. I mean, this is the real pandemic in America right now.
Right.
I mean, you've got people living in constant fear, and they're afraid, and a little bit of substance abuse eases the pain, and then a little bit more substance abuse makes it a little more livable. And anybody that's ever done any kind of medication, I mean, I had an injury and they put me on painkillers for a while, and I knew I had to get off of them.
Right.
I mean, it was a brutal time. I mean, I was in pain, I was suffering, but in the end, the pain was far less easier to deal with than the suffering I was getting from taking the medication. So I know that's a real issue, man. And I don't know why more people ain't really, and not just, okay, let's go to another thing that I think is a pandemic, is the issue with, and again, this, I still believe these lockdowns, this masking, I still think it affects all of it. It affects the drug use. I think it affects the child abuse in homes or the domestic abuse in homes. I think and I know it's on the rise. I watched the reports and stuff. And I tell you, what do you think it does to the people that have mental issues?
Right.
And we don't, and you know this, we don't have good, proper treatment facilities for people with mental issues.
Well, we never have, but what the problem is with mental illness is we like to talk about things after something's happened. After Joe goes down and shoots 17 people at the mall.
Right.
We need these resources. But you know what? After Joe and all his people are buried, we done forgot about that we were going to help the mental health people. I think it should be free mental health. I think it should be free prescriptions. I'm talking about prescription drugs that help you, not, get you messed up as far as high or anything like that. But that's never going to happen. But we're going to continue to bitch about what people do, but we can't seem to get them into treatment. Some people don't want treatment. Some people are going to stay away from that. But there are people that would take the treatment if it was readily available.
Yeah. Well, and that being said, and a lot of, and I've talked to police officers. I know some of these police officers have said that the jails have become the institutions for the people that have mental problems,
Yep.
and they're not trained to deal with it.
No, they're not going to be fixed. They're just housed. That's all they're being is housed. They're not going to. If they're schizophrenic and you put them in prison, they'll be schizophrenic when they come out.
Right.
What's going to change that? Nothing.
It's incredible, and if you've ever dealt with it and seen it, it's incredible that there aren't more resources. And I don't care what it is, and this is the sad thing. When you deal with something where you need a government agency involved, I don't care what it is, there is so much red tape, paperwork that the average person can't keep up.
You know yourself what you went through during the pandemic. When businesses were closed down, you want to go get a bite to eat, you may not be able to get a bite to eat because the places are closed because they're not selling food.
Right.
All right, well, you're all well and good. You may be able to handle that. But think about somebody else with mental illness that may be psychotic and don't understand
Right.
what is going on. And they might think the whole world's against them and they shut their doors. They don't want them around. Or they don't, there's so many different things that can run through their mind or your mind.
Well, that goes back to the masking.
Yeah.
What do you do if you got somebody schizophrenic come in and don't have a mask, and somebody's trying to tell them they got to wear a mask and gets confrontational,
Yeah.
and they don't realize why?
Right.
Then you've got a real. You make a.
And then what happens is the cops get called, the person gets tasered, then he gets sent to jail, which is not going to do him any good because he's going to get in conflict with people in jail and get hurt or killed, and it's not getting the mental health that he needs. He ain't going to get the mental health that he needs in a jail.
Not
They're
gonna get
overwhelmed.
medication.
There's no way they could even begin to fix what they need.
There's definitely some changes that need to be made in the way we are structured to care for our people with special needs. And I'm talking about our veterans. I'm talking about our people that with mental handicaps, any type, even physical handicaps. We do need to provide more readily available resources for these people,
Right.
because there's not many at all. And I mean, thank God Trump revamped it a little bit the way he did it to VA, because my dad went, what was that, almost 2 years, my dad waited to get gallbladder surgery. It's just, unbelievable.
Right.
It's just, you don't never think about that thing until you're dealing with it. You just,
Yep.
It's crazy times. But, well, getting away from that, so you got any big plans for the Labor Day? You going into labor?
I don't anticipate any labor around my house, but we do have one that's 19 years old, so I guess it could happen. Who knows? No, I don't have any plans. I'm going to go maybe flea marketing tomorrow, maybe look around some antique stores or something.
Flea market
just
and
kind of running around,
I heard
doing
that.
free stuff. There ain't really a whole lot out there right now. To do. Yeah, there is, with it raining every day.
Well, we was in Fort Myers and they had the whole town shut down. Had some kind of art walk or something downtown Fort Myers.
Oh, I'm not walking
You're
around
not,
art.
You're not an art connoisseur.
I've been there. I've been made to go to that shit. I've been women art. Please come with me. Please come with me. Okay, we're not buying none of the art.
What is that? God, I wish I could remember the guy's name. There's a place in Naples that's doing a thing. It's got a gun range and I guess a place where you can pitch a tent, and you can pitch your tent there for $20, and you can use the gun range for $20 for Labor Day weekend.
That's too tempting. I think I better stay away. Better stay away from ammos and firearms.
Well, let me ask you now. I really, because you're a serviceman, former serviceman, Navy man. How do you feel about Afghanistan pullout?
First of all, I think they should have used a condom. Well, just because you said pull out.
Yeah,
I think probably we should have done it better, and I think it should have been thought up a little bit, more ahead of time, the person that did the thinking there, or lack of thinking. And to leave, I don't know, 5 trillion, I'm just getting an estimate, on the equipment of the aircraft and the helicopters and the troop carriers.
That
we
blows
just
my
basically
mind.
we just basically said, here's you, an army.
Yeah.
You supply the people, and which we already trained them, so they know how to use our equipment anyway. So might as well have it. So now, just so you know, taxpayers, this next year taxes will go up, so we can rebuy that shit, so we can use
Well,
it again.
look, now all of a sudden you got ISIS K. I don't know what's next, man. You got ISIS K. They got them by the alphabet now, and it's never.
Do you think we could just start up our own group and just somehow make some money off of it, or what?
Look, I'm just telling you right now.
Can we get our own
Well,
helicopters and shit?
I'm a very compassionate person, very compassionate. But the efforts we have made, and we have evacuated the people, which I don't believe we evacuated the people that all need to get out of there. I think that if we could get, when we do get, if the way he's done it now, this is the way I feel. Get those people out, and then you're just going to have to push the button over there. Just wipe it off the map, because you've already armed them. You gave them intelligence. You gave them a kill list.
Why would they not come over here and F with us again? Why would they not? They've done it before. There were no consequences to them. Oh, so they killed bin Laden. There's a lot more bin Ladens where he came from. You know what I'm saying? They killed this person or that person. Don't you think it's just like a drug cartel? You kill the kingpin, there's another one coming up. There's another one coming up.
Well, I tell you, the one thing that bothered me is that the 13 known people that died over this bad decision. That was uncalled for. That was unnecessary. And any respect anybody could have for the current person in the White House, I seen the video while he was there, and he kept checking his watch during the service for,
Oh, I heard about that. Yep.
Is that
That's
to me
kind of
is
disrespectful. Yeah.
kinda. Could you this one father, I guess he went on well, I think he was on Tucker. I don't know, Tucker Carlson, but he said he told his son's mother, he said if he checks his watch one more time, I would have probably been the same way.
Right.
I mean, if you've never lost a child, that's a pain that never goes away, and during the heat of the moment, anybody could be a target.
Right.
And a sign of disrespect toward a person's deceased child. Look,
Right.
if the man go over and whack the stupid off his face, he should be presumed innocent of all charges.
Yep.
In that case. But no, I don't know. It's a sad time. I just wish that life would get back to the easy going,
Regular living. Yeah.
regular living.
Yep.
No, well, no. I guess we just wanted to come on here and say a few things about what's going on. I've been under the weather for a couple of days. I've been working on a pretty big podcast that's taking a lot of effort. So a lot of video going into it. So I just want to put something out there to let you know I'm still alive. And we've got some pretty good content coming up. Please like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. We got a page called The Cracker Culture, Smoking Joe Nation, and our website, smokingjoenation.com. Check out our t-shirts on the merch shop. Miss Jessie works hard to pump them out for you. She'll make whatever you want. So check out the merch shop. And I'm Smoking Joe for Cracker Culture. Love, peace, and gator grease. I love you, Florida. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. I hope you and yours have a happy Labor Day. And for the end, I'd like to give my prayers to the new Gold Star families that just lost the 13 servicemen.